We once traveled through the woods. It was a week-long hike, and every night it seemed to me that someone was making strange noises in the woods. Maybe, of course, the scary stories around the campfire were doing their job. But the farther into the wilderness we got, the more nervous I became. I could have sworn that every time in the morning, I heard some noise from the forest. And it wasn't an ordinary animal screaming. It was an incomprehensible sound. It didn't sound like anything. I told my friends about it, but they laughed at me. At last I decided to prove to everybody that I was right. At one of my sleepovers, I woke up at dawn, and went into the forest. The sun was just rising, and the fog was thick and impenetrable. I was walking in it, as if I was floating. At last I heard that strange sound. It sounded vaguely like the roar of an elephant. I walked almost to the touch, and the sound grew louder and louder. So I was walking correctly. Soon the trees parted, and I found myself in a big glade, drowned in mist. I could hear the sound of what I was after. It must be in the trees, because the sound is coming from above. And then the sun came out from behind the trees. The fog was thinning. I lifted my head, got my cell phone ready to take a picture, and froze with my mouth open. Because I saw a giant column, drowning in the fog, and another one behind it. But it wasn't the columns, it was the legs, or paws of a giant creature. I could not see it in more detail, because of the fog. But I could see that it was gigantic in size. Again the creature trumpeted, and most eerily, I heard a similar sound from somewhere in the forest. So he was not the only one here. I squatted down, though I knew that it was unlikely to notice me, and those giant feet walked past me. Only the ground shook gently. The creature went off into the woods, toward its counterpart, and I returned to camp. I sat by the extinguished fire, looking at the tents, and wondering how my friends would behave if they knew what fabulous creatures were hiding in the forest.
Subscribe to the channel. There will be many more interesting things.